Well, you know, here I am. About 5 years ago, I was sort of, Philippa and myself, my good lady, were kind of, you know, I was born in London, brought up in London, you know, don't go to the countryside, don't really like it actually, full of, I used to say, full of farmers and fascists, stay well away. And, but, you know, leading a very, very urban life, we kind of thought, you know, maybe we should have somewhere in the countryside we could just go to and just relax. And we thought about it, Philippa and I, and we kind of went, well, why do that? Why go to the countryside and just have a house and, you know, drive down there and read a book I could have read in London and, you know, and lock it up and come back to London again. And we thought, well, if we could do something in the countryside, that would be good, that would be great. And it was just about that time a friend of ours was talking about farming and being in the countryside, and we, through a series of connections, we went, that's definitely it. That's what we should do. We should own a vineyard. We love wine, we love drinking wine, we know a fair bit about it. Why don't we have a vineyard so that we have a place in the countryside and we actually contribute, you know, we actually do something in the countryside. And so back in the end of '02, we bought this vineyard just outside of Carcassonne in southern France. Put the vineyard back into fantastic condition, farm organically, rebuild the cave, or the winery as some people call it, and started making wine on the vineyard. And one of the other things that's really good about it, apart from the fact that, you know, you learn about agriculture, and that's very important, is all of a sudden you now have to start making decisions about your own brand. You know, what are you going to call it? How's the label going to be designed? And all the things that, you know, normally you make recommendations to clients, suddenly you have to make the decisions yourself. So the other great thing about it is I've had to design a label, and I've decide what to call it, and do all the little things that, you know, it's very small, we're not talking a vast industry here, but all the little decisions that you have to make or you advise clients to make, you're now making for yourself. And that's been great fun. So I sit here in '09, I've learned a huge amount about farming, why we should be farming organically and how we're destroying the planet if we don't do that by putting chemicals down on it, how people don't realise how the planet's being destroyed by all these things. We should be buying organic produce. I know it's slightly more expensive, but, you know, in the end the planet can't go on paying for our lifestyle. And of course the other thing I did is then, what do you call it? So, you know, I did the very simple thing of, I could never remember the names of other wines, and when friends said to me, oh, I've tried this wine, it's called whatever it was, I used to forget. And so I thought, well, the first thing you've got to do, the first lesson of branding, is help somebody remember what it is you're selling. So I thought, well, I'll just call it Hegarthy Chamance. Chamance is the name of the vineyard, Hegarthy is my name. At least they'll remember John's wine's called Hegarthy, so if they go into a store and ask for it, they'll be able to remember the name. So, you know, a lesson in marketing, create something that's memorable.